Well, good morning and welcome to Zen Fits, or Strange Conceits. Here we are in Blackstone, Virginia, the center of the world, but then you too are at the center of the world. The title of this talk is Zoroaster and Trump. Now, I studied mythology through Joseph Campbell. I met him in 1970 and started reading his books then. And I still read them about every 10 years I read them again, particularly The Masks of God. Anyway, what's very interesting in my study of mythology through Campbell is the worldview or mythology or religion of ancient Persia called Zoroastrianism. There was a prophet named Zoroaster, supposedly. But this worldview of Persia, which was the empire of the day, Babylon, shaped the Middle East, which is called the Levant. And it shaped the religions of the Abrahamic religions, which are Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. These three religions come out of the same Bible. Abraham, it's called the Abrahamic religions. But the worldview, the way the viewpoint that shapes the world we see, really comes out of Persia, out of Zoroastrianism, which was, according to Campbell, the first dualistic mythology or religion, a religion that saw the world as a cosmic war between light and darkness. And this view was in time. In other words, there was a beginning, and the sons of light fight against the sons of darkness, like Star Wars, all the way to a final battle, Armageddon, the end of time, and light will triumph over darkness. So history is viewed like a ruler, beginning and an end, and it's a conflict between good and evil, light and darkness, and it's your duty, us humans, to be enlisted in the army of light, the sons of light against the sons of darkness, the evildoers. And that's the way we see the world in the West. There are different ways of seeing it, but that's been a pretty dominant way. It creates crusades. So it's been interesting for me, because now at the good old age of 83, I was on a 1960 when Nixon ran against JFK. I was on a submarine in Norfolk. And then in 1968, when Nixon was elected, I was teaching in Northern Virginia. And here I am. I'm still awake, aware, and welcoming every perception as a guide to my essential understanding. See? So I have a pretty wide-angle viewpoint. And I can see this mythology of cosmic war. It was really kind of like born in the World War II when we had this cosmic war against the Axis powers. And then that morphed into the cosmic war, Cold War, of capitalism against communism, light against dark. And Nixon was a Cold Warrior. So when Nixon came in, he really changed this cosmic war and brought it home to America, where it was us against them, the hippies and the war protesters. They were the darkness, and we Republicans are Nixonians. We are the light. So the light war between light and darkness became a civil war, cultural war. And that morphed on through. Well, we can see these wars constantly being created. War on drugs, war on terror, the fight against the darkening, the shadow of darkness overtaking the world and the light fighting against the darkness. And we're going towards the end of time in a final battle when light will succeed and the liberals will be eliminated. That's still going on. The memes, I got a meme today. All these, the memes from the right are shaped in this cosmic war, and the liberals and the Democrats are the evildoers, and the Republicans and the Trump are the sons of light, and 2020 will wipe them off the face of the earth, or so forth. Or so it's always this framework of this Zoroaster, framing the world in a cosmic war of good against evil. And of course, I'm on the good side and everyone else is, and you're on the bad side. So I'm just pointing out that the pattern, the mythology of it, stays the same, but the content changes. Like Bush framed, it was the 9/11 in a cosmic war against terror. It wasn't just go get some of these criminals and root them out of a cave. It's a cosmic war against terror, against darkness itself, you see. And the Vietnam War, we got stuck in that because it was framed as a cosmic war against communism, and it wasn't just a local civil war. So the local, in this framework, you see, in this cosmic mythology, a local conflict gets framed as a universal conflict. War on drugs. Instead of just dealing factually with drugs and addiction, it's a war on drugs. You see, and so now it's a cosmic war. So this idea here of the local situation becoming a universal situation is the illusion of history, our history. Even in the Bible, the Yahweh was a local God. Yahweh was a Jewish God, a local God. But they became the universal God. And so once your local God becomes the universal God, you got to get rid of all the other gods. You can't include them, you have to exclude them. So this becomes this idea of the local God being the universal God of all, and there can only be one God, so all these other gods got to be eliminated. You can see that particular pattern morphing into all these different cosmic wars. The inclusive way, the other mythology that is also at work at the same time, is that of inclusion. In other words, all local gods are your gods. You can have your gods. So it's a way of including instead of excluding. And these two mythologies are at war with each other right now. Because on the liberal side, it's more of a inclusion. We're an expanding inclusion. An expanding world that includes more and more people, more and more local gods. Everybody is a local god. You see, when I say you're at the center of the world, that means you're the God, you're the creator of your world. You're the God of the world you live in. You created it. You're living in it. We're all gods in that we are all creators of the world we each live in. Each of us lives in a unique world of me. That's a God, you see. So when we include that, you see, that's American democracy, including all the gods. But the Zoroastrian mythology is that these other gods are dark gods and only my God is light and we have to eliminate him. So this is the inflation of my God. The local God, me, becomes the God of everybody. And that's Trumpism, you see. So you have to understand the different patterns at work here exclusion, inclusion. Take a look at the difference between Catholicism, Middle Ages Catholicism, which was a spiritual or religious Roman Empire, and it held for 1,000 years because it included all the local gods. In the Middle Ages, every town could have its saint. Every city had its saint. That was their local god. But then the big dome was, of course, the Pope in Rome and the Christian God. So big God, and it included all the little gods. And that's the way the Roman Empire worked. It took over a new tribe, and you keep your gods. It's called syncretization, integrating. We'll just integrate your God in with the overall whole, you see. Change its name if you want to, same God. But the Protestant Reformation really was about the one God and eliminating all the other gods. So that was the cosmic war of my God against all the other gods. So anyway, I'm rambling on here. But the point is that we're living in mythology right now. Star Wars, mythology. Cosmic war, cosmic war against good, against evil, the rebels against the empire. This is our politics. It's mythology. We have to wake up. Thanks for dropping in.